So I'm back with another story time. Today is a mukbang, Taco Bell mukbang. I got a veggie bowl and two bean burritos. The veggie bowl, I've been eating it like every week. I freaking love it, and if you haven't tried it, you should try it. I add the jalapeno sauce, and I also add hot Fritos, and the lady was like, interesting, but it's really good. And today's story time is about the first time I took an edible. This happened the ending of last year or the beginning of this year. It was almost a year ago, I think. And it was with my friend. I think he would be okay with me saying his real name, but I don't want to take any chances. So we're gonna call him Jose. So me and Jose have been friends for a really long time. I've known him since high school and I hang out with him a lot. He's an artist. He's really dope. And one day he was like, hey, you want to come over? We can draw, we can hang. And I was like, hell yeah. And so when I went over, he was like, hey, look what I have. I also got a Dr. Pepper, but I didn't get a straw because we don't use straws around here. We're trying to save the turtles. So he pulled out like a Rice Krispie edible. And he was like, look what my friend gave me. You want to try it? And I was like, yeah, why not? I am not a huge fan of weed. I don't care if people smoke weed. I mean, that's none of my business. But for me, it usually gets me paranoid. But this day I was like feeling a little gutsy. I was like, all right, I'm down to try it with you. And so he gave me like half of it. And it was like this. He gave me about half. And it was actually really good. Like, I love Rice Krispies. So I ate that shit. And like 30 minutes in, I was like, I don't feel anything. And he was like, well, you want to take some shots? And he had like little bottles of liquor. And I was like, why not? So a few minutes later, I do start to feel the liquor. A little bit after that, I start to feel the edible. And I start to get really paranoid. And I tell my friend, I'm like, hey, I think I'm kind of feeling it. And I'm getting a little scared. And he was like, oh, chill, chill. You know what? We can watch something. So he was like, just lay down, just lay down. We laid down. And I had my legs on him. And we've always been cool, And he put his arm on my leg, and I was like, this dude is about to rape me. And I was like, hey, can you put something on, like something different? And he was like, yeah, for sure. And he was being so chill about it. Like, now I look back and I'm like, I was just really freaking high. So the first thing that Jose chooses to put on is a documentary about witchcraft. First of all, I'm a huge punk. I get scared over everything. And besides that, I'm actually like generally, I'm very scared of demonic stuff, witches. I'm really scared of that. I grew up very religious, so I've always just been taught to avoid all that stuff. And that's what he put on. He put a documentary. It's on Vice. It's about like witches in Venezuela, I think. It was pretty interesting. I watched it on my own later on, but at that moment when you're high, you're like, oh crap, I'm scared. And he hangs around with girls that are witches. I don't care. That's not my thing, but I do get scared of that stuff. So I was like, oh, he's probably a witch. And I don't associate with people who do that stuff. That's none of my business, but personally, I just don't want that around me because I get scared. And so I was starting to think like, oh my God, he's a witch. Like he's gonna try to initiate me into the witch hunt or whatever, the witchcraft stuff. And I started to look at him and I was like, oh no, man. And I just told him, can you take me home? And he was like, no, dude, chill, like chill out. And I was like, no, take me home. And he was like, okay, all right, chill. Can I get you to just chill out? Because I was freaking out. And I was like, no, take me home. And at this point, I started not being able to breathe. Like, I was having trouble remembering how to breathe. Oh my God. I started to like lean back into the bed and I was like, okay. And I started like trying to breathe and he was like, dude, he was starting to get scared because he was like, oh shit, she doesn't know how to breathe. She's forgetting. And so I was like, can you get away from me? And he was like, no, just chill out. And the more I would try to like get away from him, the more he wanted like me to chill out. So he was starting to get closer and I was like, oh my God, he's gonna rape me. He's gonna do something. Jose has never disrespected me like that. You know, he's always been super sweet. He would never force me to do anything I don't want to do. So he's not like that. I was so high in this moment that I thought he was going to rape me. And so I was like, I basically cornered myself and like he was just trying to hug me. He was like, can you give me a hug? Can you chill out? Because I was breathing like, like that. And he was like, just chill out. And when he started to hug me, I started to get away and then I started almost crying. He was like, no, like just forget it, you know, I'm not trying to make you feel scared, we can take you home right now. And I hadn't even been over there for a long time, but he lives like 20 minutes away, so it was messed up for me to ask him to bring me over and then just go home. But he was like, I'll take you home. And so I got my stuff and we got in the car. And as we were driving home, I started to tell him like things I had been feeling for a really long time. Like how I felt about Elias's passing and how it has been very hard for me to constantly feel like I have a lot of baggage. I just started to feel everything that I had been pushing inside, like that I had been repressing. And he was like, dude, just chill. And so he said that, and then he ended up pulling into like, it was already night. He ended up pulling into this lot. It was a vacant lot. And I didn't know where we were at. And I started to get scared. I was like, oh my God, he's going to set me up. Someone's going to come over to the car, snatch me out. I had so many ideas. I watched so many crime documentaries that I think of every possibility. So I thought, man, in this lot, something's gonna happen. And I was like, what are you doing? He was really trying to calm me down because he was scared that I was just getting so paranoid. He was like, just chill out. And I was like, no, you need to take me home right now. And he was like, all right, you know, I just like, he didn't want any problems. He honestly wanted me to feel comfortable. So he was like, okay, you know, I'll take you home. And so on the way home, I was like, to be honest, Jose, I'm gonna do something tonight. He was like, what? I was like, I'm gonna kill myself. And he was like, oh no. And that's when he stopped the car. He was like, I'm not taking you home. and I was like, take me home, I want to do this. Why did I want to kill myself? You know what, I think it hasn't been until the last few months that I've actually gotten a hold of my mental stability, because I was out of there. I was like, take me home. He was like, nope. It's like, I'm not taking you home if you're in that state of mind. I'm gonna stay with you as long as I need to be, because I'm not gonna let that happen while you're with me. And so for the remainder of the night, we just drove around for a bit, and then I talked a lot and he talked, and I ended up crying and he ended up crying too. It was really a changing moment in our friendship. Like, I feel like we got much more closer. I really just, I can't even tell him how much I appreciate him, because it meant a lot that someone was willing to stay with me, even though they seen me in that state of mind, like being crazy as hell. Me and this dude have been through so much, like, you name it, and it's happened between us, and yet, like, we still managed to be friends, and I'm so thankful for that. Like, this past summer, he was one of the few people that I hung out with, like, every weekend, and I had such a great summer. Man, I feel like I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. He ended up taking me home, and I ended up sleeping really good. Like, I was on clouds, because by that time the edible had like kind of simmered down a bit. I finished the whole thing. I don't even know how I finished that bowl of burrito, and I still have this one left. I probably won't finish it because I am kind of full. You know, it's weird. I used to hate eating in front of people. Like, I could never do it. I remember I went out on this date. Well, not really a date, but I went out with this dude. The dude from my story time where I said he was on the down low. I went out with him. We went to Pluckers, which Pluckers is really good. I ended up ordering a salad or something. I didn't eat any of it because I was so ashamed to eat in front of somebody. I used to be like embarrassed to eat in front of everybody because I felt like I looked so ugly eating. But now I'm like, I'm hungry. Who cares? My mouth area, my big teeth, it's always been something I've been self-conscious about, but I'm just learning to not care. I mean, in the end, everybody's gonna be ugly. I like doing mukbangs more than regular story times because I kind of feel more occupied. But I want to do whatever y'all prefer. I probably won't finish this. Last part. I'll save that for later. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoy that video. I had a lot of fun filming it and eating. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.